Welcome back to stage 2 of the JLU 3.0 trail truck. So in stage 1, we got to a rolling chassis with a motor, but no electronics. Then after that, we did a little mini stage and did a shock swap, added flex blades, and looked at some wheels and tires. So a lot has gone on since the mini stage, and it has been a little while. And I was waiting for the weather to turn to do a little painting. So that has happened, and we have progressed quite a bit. So I'm going to bring you right up to speed on what's happened. So this is as we sit now currently. So I think it's looking pretty good. So of course we did a little paint and body work. Had to add a little detail as always with some door handles. And then a really cool new product I found on eBay was some side window rotopacks. And then I went ahead and was planning on doing some Bang Gear RC rear tail lights. I went ahead and got those trimmed and fitted and glued in. And as always, have to do some magnet mounts. So from Lee Valley Tools, ordered those online, got those installed. And then if you remember in stage 1, we installed the Injora inner fenders. And those must sit just a little differently than the RC four-wheel drive because I was having some clearance issues with the back buckets for the tail lights, so I had to trim those out. And then the sliders as well. If you remember, I was using the RC four-wheel drive sliders with these Injora inner fenders, and this clear body for some reason has a lot of flare at the back, and because of a little bit of a lift in the body, it just didn't want to catch in those sliders. So I ended up drilling a new hole and flaring out the sliders on each side. And then another big item you'll notice is here on the front. I ended up calling an audible after getting it painted and kind of mocking up the trail bumper and deciding to go with this Injora bumper that's very similar to the one I've got on the Nightcrawler. It's just got a different kind of squared off stinger. It's just kind of a new style, but I think everything else is the same. So with the front bumper squared away, focused on the rear, and a couple new products from Club 5, and when you know it, some fitment issues with both of those. So once I got those fitted and the rear bumper trimmed for the hinges and the tire raised, I think it all looks pretty good, but you know, kind of poor planning there. That this, you know, only has 2 mount holes, and if you want to mount it on that closer end one, you've got to trim out the bumper so it doesn't tilt backwards and hit that hinge. And then the tire carrier just didn't work at all without being raised. But other than that, they look good. And then I guess the last thing was the Banggear headlight housing that I always use. And I decided to paint up the black housing to chrome on these so it would pop, and I think that looks really nice. I also ended up adding in the diff skids that I had, I was planning on, and then I had a rear aluminum diff spare, so I went ahead and put that on, and I added the rear link riser as well for the uppers. You can see that in there. So I raised those uppers a couple of positions, and that should hopefully help with the climb, kind of some of the anti-squat as it climbs. And then of course, the last bit of detail for the body, the mirrors. And those bolts also help prop up the interior, and you can see I've got that in. I ended up painting that and then going back and two-toning it to a dark dash. I wasn't feeling the light gray on the dash up here against the gunmetal. Again, it was just a clash. And here's the Trio gray against the gunmetal, and it doesn't match the Link Endura gray, doesn't match the gunmetal, so it also set really tight to the grill and it pushed the body up further. Just this top of this bumper sits up higher from these posts, and that stinger just comes straight up. So it's just really tight. And then the same kind of revelation with these gunmetal Trio wheels. They don't match the gunmetal paint, so I may not be using these as alternates. You know, I'm fine with the silver shocks and the gray Endura Links because it's kind of underbody chassis. But once you start getting the color up here on the body, it may not work. But I am digging the bronze, so I may look at another bronze option or a black option rims. And then a few final little things. Got stickers on, and you can see I flipped the axial logo. Kind of looks like this skull with horns when it's upside down. Ends up looking pretty sweet. Took the side grill stickers and put them on the hood since I painted all the hood, and I painted the side grill piece. And so that's kind of where it sits now. I had a lot more planned for this stage, but just due to time and my schedule, a lot of it is electronics and LEDs and more scale details. So as this thing has sat for a while between stages, it's given me time to, of course, call audibles and change the design, of course, the bumper. So with that, I wasn't planning on doing an extravagant kind of lighting layout. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do some new lights on this thing. And I've got some cool new things kind of designed and made up for this, working with some other people. So that's all coming up in a future episode. Lighting, electronics, switching, more scale detail, more trail accessories, and that should hopefully finish this out. So thanks for watching. Just wanted to bring you up to speed and give you something to chew on in the interim. But this thing will be running at some point shortly. Thanks for watching.